So now I would like to introduce Daniel Weinstein, who is a co-founder and CEO of Lura Health.
Perfect. Well, great to be with you all tonight. Thank you so much for everyone at AngelMD and Dr. Zuckerberg and Dr. Krell for organizing. Really excited to share our story and to connect with members of the community. Our company is Lura Health, and we're making the first wearable sensors for saliva diagnostics. Saliva is a gold mine for health information. Many people in the medical community are even referring to saliva as the new blood of health diagnostics, and our sensors allow people to non-invasively and continually monitor diseases using saliva. So our very first go-to-market area that we're addressing is tooth decay and erosion. This is because of big market pulls in this area, as well as the functionality of our current technology. So with aligners specifically, there are over 10 million patients who've received aligner treatments. Clear aligners are a huge market, growing in popularity year after year. The problem with aligners and retainers is that they can increase the risk of tooth decay and erosion if oral health isn't maintained during treatment. As aligners continue to expand, there's a need for continuous monitoring of oral health to make sure that the mouth is in a healthy environment and to prevent problems associated with tooth decay and erosion during alignment. We've developed a tiny sensor that monitors acidity in the mouth, which is a driving factor behind tooth decay and erosion. Our tiny sensors are integrated directly into retainers and aligners. They continually monitor acidity, and they send patients alerts and corrective feedback when acid is at unhealthy levels. So this has lots of value for many players. For aligner manufacturers, this technology can reduce the liability of tooth decay and erosion during alignment. It can also provide a differentiated product offering in a very competitive space. And to that end, we've received significant interest from clear aligner companies to partner with us. The dentists can use this technology to deliver better personalized prevention and track patient compliance to these personalized preventative plans. Patients can use the technology to improve oral health and reduce out-of-pocket spending. And importantly for our company, this go-to-market approach significantly de-risks the business. It gives us access to existing sales channels of clear aligners to get to the mouths of hundreds of thousands of patients very quickly. It also serves as the first step to expand our sensor platform to other medical areas. Now, to that point, I'll next talk about our monitoring system in more depth, as well as our expansion in the future to other medical areas. So over the past 4 years, we've developed a super tiny sensor that fits in the mouth in a retainer and aligner form factor. The mouth is one of the most hostile places for electronics, as you can imagine, and we needed to solve significant challenges in terms of engineering to get our product up and running. First of all, it's ultra miniaturized, it's super low power consumption, very durable to survive occlusive forces, biocompatible, and ultra waterproof. The sensor, as I mentioned, is integrated into aligners and retainers and embedded using our proprietary embedding process. And this first go-to-market product lays the foundation for our system and allows us to begin expanding to other medical applications. So in development now, we have other form factors, future form factors. So these are fixed devices, bands and bracket sensors, which are worn on one tooth. These are the delivery devices for many future sensors related to additional health conditions. So currently we have R&D going on to integrate sensors for chronic kidney disease, diabetes, and we have long-term R&D plans to integrate sensors related to other health conditions that are already monitored using saliva in point-of-care tests. The only limiting factor are the number of indications and sensors that are out there for us to integrate. So the sensor sends all the data to a smartphone where the patient can receive preventative alerts, and that data from the smartphone is then synced to our web portal, which we're actively working to integrate into dentists and doctors' existing electronic medical record softwares. So far, we've been in contact with the leading clear aligner companies, as well as many other companies in oral health and patient foundations. We have interest and intent to move forward with a large clear aligner company. Unfortunately, I can't discuss too much of that agreement because of confidentiality agreements, but we also have support from patient groups and insurance. As well, we have an existing strategy for using reimbursement codes and a defined FDA pathway to bring our product to market. In terms of the technology, we recently completed the HAX Accelerator, which is regarded as the world's top hardware accelerator. This was in Shenzhen, China. So we were living in Shenzhen for over a year and a half during COVID, developing the technology. We at first, had questions about whether being in China with COVID would hurt our development, but it did exactly the opposite. Being one of the only American companies left in Shenzhen during that time allowed us access to top tier medical device manufacturers to allow us to rapidly iterate through different prototypes to get through our clinical units. So we currently have clinical units up and running. We tested them in a founder's test for positive results in all of our mouth. And we're now in our first in-human clinical study at University of Connecticut. So here's our timeline. There's a lot of stuff here, but the important things to focus on are that we co-founded the company while all the founders were at Tufts in 2018 or 2017. We to date have raised over 1.5 million in funding in a pre-seed. This has come from a number of sources. We've received a National Science Foundation SBIR grant. We also have won some university competitions, and the rest has come from dilutive angel and VC funding, including from SOSV, our lead investor from the last round. This funding has allowed us to get to our clinical prototypes, to start working on our clinical studies, and we anticipate 2 additional funding rounds. The first funding round is our seed funding round, which we're in the process of raising now. This will allow us to clear FDA with our first acidity monitor, get to market, and finish R&D on the next sensors in the platform. The Series A raise after that will be to expand sales of the pH monitor and introduce our other monitors in 2024, which include the chronic kidney disease and diabetes sensors. So to finish up, we've formed a strong management team to go to market with diverse skill sets. We have biomedical engineering, software and computer science, orthodontics, and quality and regulatory. We also have assembled a diverse team of advisors, a growing advisory board with advisors in medical, dental, reimbursement, engineering, and business. Feel free to reach me at my email, and I can't wait for your questions. Thank you.
All right, great job. Thanks, Daniel. Salivary diagnostics, super exciting field with incredible potential. The pH thing is really helpful and really attractive, I think, to dentists in knowing which of their patients are going to be susceptible. But I'm wondering what you think that's a big sell on patients too. Are patients going to really accept the validity of pH data? And I'm wondering if you see that as an issue in getting acceptance.
I do see that as a big driver. So as I mentioned, a lot of our support has come from patient groups. So we're in contact with the Sjogren's Syndrome Foundation. We've interviewed many other high-risk patients. As one of the other presenters was mentioning, 2/3 of implants and oral procedures end up failing. When you spend $6,000 on an implant, that's an investment that you want to maintain. So for somebody who doesn't have, a lot of current or existing oral health problems, it might not seem like a big deal, but we talk to people who spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on oral health. They want to make sure their existing investments are being protected, as well as, new problems aren't emerging. And then, what I'd also say to this is that a large portion of people getting aligners are teens. These are when they're getting educated on oral health habits that, they can take with them for the rest of their life. So it's a great habit forming tool for them.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to really get our patients educated on the importance of that data. But, also equally exciting, if not even more so, is the ability to tap into other biomarkers that you may be able to uncover by wearing these, diabetes and kidney disease and things of that nature that you can pick up from the saliva. What do you see, aligners people already wearing a foreign device in their mouth. So, I agree that's a great market because nobody, I think, would object unless it's really driving the cost up significantly. Do you see this as a big increased cost driver for someone to have a device like this on top of the cost of the aligner therapy?
We don't see it as a big added price. It's a slightly premium price point. And a lot of aligners are covered using orthodontic codes in reimbursement. For patients who are covered or who don't have coverage, it'll be a slightly elevated price point. But again, for patients who have an investment to protect and have a priority on maintaining oral health, the investment will surely pay off.
Yeah, so more of a challenge getting people to accept them bonded to their teeth if they're not wearing aligners. And I guess having to convince them that the data that you get from these devices will be helpful in their oral health care moving forward. You're currently limited only to interpreting diagnostic data, right? So if someone is at higher risk by virtue of having a lower pH in their mouth, you can identify that. Do you have any plans to move into any kind of therapy, or are you just going to work with partners who might be able to help them buffer their pH if they do have acidic tendencies?
Yeah, it's a great question. We really see oral health delivery as the missing link. So there's tons of products that neutralize acidity, whether it's mouthwashes, pastes, gums, mints, sprays. It's all known that when used at the right time, these products can neutralize acid, but there's not that personalized feedback loop to tell patients when they have overactive acidity and when they need to use those products. So we're partnering with the big oral health companies as a delivery mechanism to their already existing products.
And I know you talked about diabetes monitoring and glucose level detection as one potential for this. How does the data you're able to pull from saliva compare with blood glucose results?
Saliva is slightly different from blood glucose. However, there's been studies and clinical evidence showing that monitoring salivary glucose specifically is a useful tool in tracking outcomes of diabetes. So it's not a one-to-one match, but it's proven that those data sets in salivary analytes still have value.
And a lot less invasive.
Right, and there's already some products that are one-time sticks or other technologies monitoring, glucose and other biomarkers through point-of-care tests and saliva. We're just doing it in a continual way.
Great, thanks for coming on, Daniel. I appreciate hearing about this exciting technology you guys are partnering.
Thank you so much.